Enda, we've heard that some of the reaction from Beijing is they're still keeping this very measured response so far.
Quite subdued, actually, on all things considered. I mean, I think at one point the Foreign Ministry Friday just said China or the US needs to play by the rules of global trade. That wasn't exactly bringing out the sledgehammer. I think it was maybe complicated because Liu He was in Washington and those talks were ongoing. So perhaps they're playing a bit of a longer game there to see what comes out of that dialogue. The bigger reaction actually came from the rest of Asia outside of China. I mean, South Korea, key US ally, looking for clarity. Japan reminding the US that they are not a threat to American national security. Australia saying they're disappointed. So there's a kind of a sense, I think, in Asia that with friends like these, you know, who needs enemies to some respect? China's reasonably content, but the rest of Asia is a bit more upset.
Yeah, it's really the U.S. allies that are more hurt by all this than China itself. But you know, when you take a look at what we're seeing in these current tariff plans, is there a difference between the President Trump and the candidate Trump that at least promise these types of tariffs?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's still night and day. Remember, the rhetoric on the campaign trail was very, very vocal and directed towards China. At one stage, he spoke about 45% tariffs. There was the thing about claiming or labelling China as a currency manipulator and the like. All of that went by the wayside. Nonetheless, though, it does seem like his rhetoric is starting to increase again. And that's why, even though these particular steel tariffs aren't very punishing towards China, there's a worry about, are they just the start of something much broader? And will the next move that the US takes be against a much broader basket of goods against China? So we're still nowhere near where we were on the campaign trail, but at the same time, the anti-trade rhetoric is picking up in Washington, and there's a sense that the hawks are getting the upper hand, and that's why people are concerned, Yvonne.
You know, and as we've been talking about China's National People's Congress, that's kicking off today. We already got those headlines, of course. What about trade tensions playing into the NPC?
Yeah, I mean, the timing of all of this is probably good for China. They're going to use this NPC as an opportunity to project how stable they are, stable economy. Xi Jinping is going to double down and become a leader for life. And at the same time, they will reinforce their message to the world that they are a protector of the global order, they believe in globalization, and that, you know, they're being very measured in their response. They're not just going to have a knee-jerk reaction. In fact, if anything, they left that to the EU of all people. It was the EU who came out talking about Harley-Davidsons and tariffs and bourbons and the like. So I think China will be quite happy with the timing of its NPC. It will project Xi, whether you agree with him or not, as a very strong ruler, and will reinforce their message that they've been projecting now since President Trump's arrival, that they are a friend on the global economic stage. So I think it's quite convenient for them, Betty.